Hello and welcome to 2-Day Rentals. Today's video is very special. I'm going to be giving you a tour of 2-Day Rentals. This is a video that I was a little hesitant to do right off the bat, and that's just because my collection it's ever changing, and the way I have things set up is ever evolving. But the way that I have things set up now, I believe is my favorite version of 2-Day Rentals. I've always strived for this to be like a mom and pop video store mixed with Suncoast, mixed with Hastings if you're familiar with that store, or Blockbuster, with a little bit of an arcade appeal thrown in there. I really gravitate towards movie licensed toys and memorabilia. It's funny because I'm almost 40 years old as of recording this video. I've been collecting since I was a kid. And so a lot of this, as many of you that do collect, pardon my dog, someone must be here. Hang on one second. Well, that timing was impeccable. My guard dog let me know that a package had been dropped off, and here at 2-Day Rentals, we get a lot of those packages. And this is really bizarre. I ordered this Kenner sign to go in my collection, so you won't see it in this video because I've already shot footage. But I'll talk about it later. I just love this. It looks like something you would see at a toy store. But back to it. I've been collecting since I was a kid. Like I said, I'm almost 40 as of recording this video. And my collection has just evolved and changed so much over the years. And the things that I have displayed now are vastly different than they were maybe a month ago, a year ago. And so I just really like where it's at right now. So I wanted to do this video just to sort of show you what it's like here and how things are set up now. And this is, I would say, not a fraction of my collection, but it's certainly not everything. I have a lot of stuff in storage. I have a lot of things sort of in the queue, as you'll see, ready to be displayed. And as always, I have my eyes and head on a swivel looking for new things to add to my collection. And maybe one day I'll do a video of things that are on my wish and want list. And over the years, that list has shrunk down. I'm not saying that I'm done collecting, but I'm just saying it's really kind of only a few things that I really have on my bucket list. Like, oh, I would really love to have that. And space is always kind of an issue here, but in a good way. I think that if I had much more room, I would be even more impulsive than I kind of already am when I buy things. I'm already a bit impulsive, and I have to really kind of watch because, space is one of those kind of things I just don't have a ton of in here, but I kind of like that. As you will see as I go through the video, it's not cluttered, it's organized chaos, but I like that coziness, and you'll probably hear me repeat that a lot. So let's jump right in and take a look at what 2-Day Rentals currently looks like now.
First thing we see here, those awesome Mothra figures. Those are from Japan, they're from Bandai. And some of my larger figures in my collection up here on this top shelf. The largest being this Ghoulie from Ghoulies 2. I love that thing. And a few others, just a mishmash of all the things that I love. See some Godzilla, G.I. Joe, Batman, Obi-Wan Kenobi from Hot Toys. And I like to keep all the larger figures like this a bit higher up so they really display nicely. As we work our way down, here's my Steven Spielberg shelf. So all things Steven Spielberg here, little Jurassic Park, little E.T., little Jaws. Got my VHSs for Indiana Jones there with these incredible Temple of Doom figures from Hasbro. I think these were around 2010, 2011. I always wanted Temple of Doom figures when I was a kid because I love that movie. And when these were released, I snagged the whole line. And of course we have our talking Indiana Jones doll. You may have noticed that from a previous video I did. And I like to put the VHS kind of up next to the figures. And I think I need a couple of Back to the Future figures. I just have a DeLorean there. I can't believe I don't have any Back to the Future figures. And as we work our way down, this is just a good example of what toys are doing today. So these are modern versions of toys I had as a kid. And, these G.I. Joe classified figures probably are among my favorite toys that have come out recently. They're just great. I don't have all of them. I'll need more room if I want to expand my collection. Of course, this is sort of a mishmash of NECA and Playmates, Ninja Turtles. Those Playmate Ninja Turtles are just great. They look just like the old figures. I love all the varying colors they have there, but those are awesome. And this is where I keep my VCR and some other movie-type memorabilia. A really neat little box set of Alfred Hitchcock movies and some vehicles that I collect from various movies. That's the police cruiser from Groundhog's Day and the what is it, Days of Thunder car. Below that, some McFarlane things. So you got the Trigun, McFarlane's Trigun, the Akira line, some of the Avatar stuff, and a random Inspector Gadget. That was actually a Build-A-Figure toy from McDonald's, I think. And on the floor, some of my retro consoles I don't have hooked up. And over here, this little skull, I keep these little wax packs of cards or these foil packs of movie cards. As a matter of fact, these should probably be up on the Spielberg shelf, but I've got a few of these, and eventually I'll get around to opening those and maybe do a video of that. And it's Back to the Future. Yeah, all those should be up on the Spielberg shelf. So yeah, some different cards. They're just kind of thrown in there. They've been in there for a while. Here's my tribute to Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and got a few different things here. Over to the far right, you may see that weird Peter Venkman. That's actually a bootleg from Mexico. And I love all the different variations of the Ghostbusters figures I have. Those two right in the front, the Winston and Peter Venkman, actually come with these sort of scare fright figures. And there are several in this line, but those two come with the throwback figures from the film. And I thought that was really neat. I think my favorite may be these from Mattel. I think those are from 2009, just below the Mego figures. And of course the Kenner repackaged ones hanging up there. I'll probably keep those in the package. And I do have the Ghostbusters case with some figures that I had as a kid. I don't have all the ones I used to have, and I kind of forgot this thing was in there. But yeah, so these are just some of the Ghostbusters figures I have from when I was younger. Some of my magazines and books. Those Disney Adventure books are great read-throughs and look-throughs. Here are my VHS tapes, and you know, it's sort of a mishmash of my favorite movies, like staff picks, as you can see here, and just other movies I love. But you know, no VHS collection is complete without some just oddities, right? And it's sort of the beauty of when you go to the video store, or when you used to, you would see those sort of oddball films. I love this sign. I just recently picked this up. It was a video store display from when Ghostbuster 2 came out. This sort of stuff is really hard to come by, and I got it at a really good price, and I think it's really cool. It's got that lenticular sort of 3D picture. Hey yo, this Razor Ramon tapestry hangs nicely over my Terminator 2, our Terminator collection. I got a sort of mixture of the Kenner figures and some stuff from NECA and the Mafex Terminator 1 figure you see there. And this bootleg Terminator 2 figure, absolutely love. You see it right there on the motorcycle. It's really neat. And I have the other one from NECA actually displayed on the McFarlane motorcycle that scales perfectly with it. So yeah, that's some of my Terminator 2 and Terminator collection. I have a few others that I don't have up there. And of course it sits up on the Terminator 2 arcade game. I loved this game when I was younger, and you know, if I was going to get an arcade 1-up, I wanted it to be a light gun, because light gun experiences are harder to emulate, so this one's perfect to have here to play, and it's a blast to play and fire up. So over on the wall to the left of that, just random Independence Day figures. I think I'll open on the 4th of July this year. Why not? And here are some of my Star Wars figures, okay? And I probably started collecting Star Wars figures before anything else when I was a kid. These are a mixture of some of my brother's figures that he handed down to me and things I collected as I grew up. And I used to display all my Star Wars stuff. And right now it's all in storage, but I kind of keep it over in that corner. That Virtual Boy, I'm not sure why it's there, but I have one, and it sits there in front of some of my boxed consoles that I have, and just some random things. You see the original Star Wars trilogy on VHS. If you go over to the left a bit more, this is where I keep all my horror stuff. Big Halloween fan, so got a lot of Michael Myers, some Pinhead, see Medusa back there. That basket case figure is actually a custom, and I really, really love it. I picked that up last year. And of course, classic horror, love me some Hammer horror, so Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, I love those Mego figures there. And a lot of people ask what my favorite figure in my collection is, and it's probably this Frankenstein figure. My dad got that for me when I was a kid, and I still love it today. I believe that's by Imperial, 1986, 1987. And, you know, you see my Metallica CD box set. I think that's actually my brother's that he gave me. But it's a pretty cool little box set. It fits in nice with the horror stuff, why not? And as we move over to the left there, kind of in storage, is a lot of my Halloween decorations and Halloween mask with some other boxes of toys that I've opened. And of course my vinyl collection, Boards of Canada, Radiohead, MF Doom, some classic vinyl down below. I love music, and I'm the world's worst vinyl collector because it comes in phases. This King Kong vinyl is really neat. I bought it because it has a really neat poster in there that I gotta hang at some point in time. And some more horror figures along with my From Software collection and some gothic kind of horror stuff. You see the Swamp Thing collection of comics and the Dark Souls and Elden Ring strategy guide. So yeah, I guess it all fits in. It works. You know, those are kind of gothic horror, and this is sort of modern horror. So sure, why not? Yeah, and yeah, so that's where that stuff's at. And in storage, oh man, so this is a project I'm going to be working on. These are most of my G.I. Joes from a kid, and one of the things I used to love to do is Frankenstein them. And so I got to put those back together, and just some other toys, and I'm trying to find a place to display my Batman stuff that I recently took down, and I'll find a place for it. And just in front of that is this little arcade set up with some video game toys and one of those arcade emulators. If you've never played Willow, the arcade game, I highly recommend it. I got my Dreamcast hooked up over here, and of course the arcade stick where I can play all my favorite arcade games. That Tron handheld game I found at an estate sale for a banger of a price, and that Stealth handheld game is bizarre. I'll have to talk about it sometime. It's like you look through the lens. It's not quite VR, but it's actually pretty enjoyable. And my Hot Wheels binder stuffed full of card backs over there, Sega Menacer. And of course, here we are again with the Willow arcade game. Definitely check that one out. And we're moving on to one of my favorite sections in my room, and this is a lot of my movie licensed and licensed figures from all sorts of manufacturers. You see any number of things over here. You got some Rambo, you got those Demolition Man figures. I love those. And that Blade figure from Toy Biz is absolutely amazing. Very movie accurate. The Last Action Hero figures, I have a couple of more I don't have displayed there. Of course, Waterworld, I did a nice video on that. Little Toxic Avenger, Mask, Conehead, Willow. Those strange Willow figures I'll have to talk about at some point in time. And some Disney and random 90s stuff up there. And those awesome Inspector Gadget figures as well. And that NECA Beetlejuice figure you see there is actually very hard to come by. And that very odd Hot Wheels Armageddon figure. I don't know how many figures Hot Wheels ever made, but they made an Armageddon one. And this wall right here is some of my, I guess, on-card figures. That Drake figure is actually signed by Mark Ralston, who played Drake. Really cool moment there. And this ATAX figure, I kept the price on that I bought it for because, you know what, it cost me $10, and back in the day, it also cost you $10. And I need to figure out where to put these carded First Wave Aliens figures. They're just kind of in a corner, but I'll find a place for them eventually. Below the melting pot of licensed movie figures is my Swamp Thing collection from mostly Kenner, but some other ones in there. And then keeping with the DC theme, I have some of my Batman figures, mostly old ones from Kenner and some new ones. And of course that Batcave that you see there. And I've sort of changed gears. I put more of my older Batman, not all of them, but a lot of my older 90s Batman figures out there with some other ones kind of next to the Swamp Thing stuff. But yeah, I love me some Batman. And below that is another melting pot of things that you see. That goofy He-Man figure, I love that one. More Batman, Superman, a big Trigun doll. I think I've talked about that Wizard of Oz lion doll that I found. And so, yeah, this is just a melting pot. And those cases you see there, the Dick Tracy, and the one behind it is actually a Beetlejuice figure case. Those are full of figures, so I'll definitely have to do a video discussing those at some point in time as well. And of course, no collection's complete without 2 Bruce Wayne Manor Batcave play sets. And funny story, I just recently found this one I have shown here at a Goodwill for $8. And this one's in way better shape than my other one. So I'm going to figure out what to do with my other one. Maybe I'll do a giveaway here at 2 Day Rentals. But I was so happy to find this one just complete. It has everything, and my other one's missing a few things. It's still in good shape, but this has all the little bells. It may be missing a few things, but it's not always displayed there. I've just got to figure out what I'm going to do with the other one. And on the floor, kind of down there too, is some of my Dreamcast games I have in a case. And yeah, so that's there along with another case that I have full of 3DO games. And I have several 3DO games, but even more probably burned 3DO games. You know, what are you going to do? They read burned CDs, so I'm going to take advantage of it. This light switch is one of the first things I put in here, and it's an arcade stick that actually makes sounds as well. And I had to put it upside down so it fit. Love Way of the Gun. So my sister got me this really cool movie poster, and it's sort of hanging above my computer where I do some editing. And that setup I have on my computer is new, so I'm still working my way around some new editing software, so my videos hopefully will get better with time. Does anyone know what that silver ball is from? Comment down below. I'm sure many of you have seen this. The most figures I have in my collection are Aliens figures, and so here are my Kenner Aliens figures. The Marines are getting geared up to go out on a mission, as you see here, and you'll be seeing a lot more Kenner Aliens figure videos for sure. And this sits just above the chaos that's brewing down below with the Queen in her hive with her cronies and some Predators. And a few Marines have already fallen down there, so got to send in a rescue crew. And that power loader back there is actually from NECA, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But here you see some of the Predator figures that I have, and it's a mixture of NECA, Lanyard. This one you see here, that Predator with the orange helmet, is actually a bootleg, another bootleg Predator. I got to figure out where to hang this awesome Aliens poster. It used to hang in a video store, as you can see here, previewing that Aliens is coming to VHS, and I love that. And currently I have my Jaguar hooked up over here, and the only game I have for it is Alien vs. Predator, so I thought it was fitting to put it there. And in that Predators box is actually the NECA Aliens figures, and for years I had these displayed. And I have the Queen, I have the power loader, as I mentioned earlier, and all the accessories. So I took them down. I had them up for a while, so I decided to switch gears. And here's some more Aliens collectibles, sort of stuffed in this corner, all sorts of goodies. And you may notice that DS there. You're thinking, why is a DS over there with all those items? Well, it's because currently in there is the Aliens Infestation game. I can't recommend that game enough. You can find it at a decent price. Luckily, I got mine years ago when it was still cheap, but the price has gone up, but it's an awesome game. And here are the Super 7 Aliens figures. And one day I'll get to opening all these. And just below all the Aliens collectibles, I keep a lot of my carded cartridge games. And those shelves are stuffed full of Super Nintendo, Sega, Virtual Boy, Nintendo, Atari, all that stuff. And this awesome CRT that I have here, it's great. It's a beast. I've got my Saturn hooked up to it, my Nintendo 64, my PlayStation, my 3DO. Currently, those are the ones I have hooked up, and also my VCR. I've got Die Hard, the arcade game, fired up here today, and I actually modded my Sega Saturn with the Terra Onion mode. So it's an optical drive emulator, and it's just packed full of the entire library. And so I can play anything, really, from the Saturn. This Max Effects Freddy Krueger kit is awesome. It's by Matchbox. I love it. I'm going to open it one day for sure. What's interesting, on the back, you see all the figures they didn't do that never came out, and one of those was actually an alien. So it's posed here. Jason's holding it up. You got that creepy children's Freddy Krueger costume, this really awesome Hellraiser tapestry on top of the TV. You see that glowing Alien VHS. My wife got that for me for my birthday. The other one, the Shining one's supposed to glow too, but it doesn't. This is an autographed copy of Suspiria, autographed by Dario Argento. I had that done at Texas Frightmare, so it sits on top of my TV with the NECA Halloween 2 figures, which Halloween 2 is my favorite Halloween. And just there under the Tales from the Crypt statue, you see one of the very few Transformers figures I have, and it's the Dracula 90th Anniversary Edition. And some other VHS and some big box NECA figures from some of my favorite slashers, but that's it. We've come full circle. We're back where we started, so I had a lot of fun doing this, so I'll keep you up to date as my collection grows and changes, but that's how it looks now.
So I'm going to find a place to put this Kenner sign. Actually, I think I'll put it right over here with my Alien stuff. Kenner's one of my favorite toy companies, toy manufacturers of all time. I mean, the Aliens line is my favorite toy line of all time from Kenner in the early 90s. So I really appreciate everyone who stops down, comments, gives me feedback. It's just awesome, and it's what makes doing this so much fun, and that's really the reason why I enjoy doing it so much, is to communicate with others and have those shared experiences with others. So if there's anything in my collection you would like me to do a video on and talk about in more detail, please let me know. Eventually, one of these days, the goal is to get around talking about all of this stuff in great detail. I would really love it if you took the chance to like, subscribe, share this if you haven't already, for that would mean a lot to me. And we'll keep growing 2-Day Rentals into something really awesome, really special, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And it's like I always say at the end of my videos, be kind as we rewind and fast forward through time. Thank you so much for stopping by 2-Day Rentals.